Arsenal, and this you want to read it out here, Arsenal were closing in on a £100 million deal for West Ham midfielder Declan Rice. The official bid is yet to be submitted, but we'll tell you about the significance of that in a moment. But the clubs are set to agree the transfer fee. As we all know, the official bid rarely goes in until all personal terms are agreed and the clubs have agreed unofficially on what the fee will be. Then a bid goes in. Stereotypically, that is how these things work. But Jess, what's your immediate reaction to hearing that this deal is almost concluded so very early on in this transfer window?
Relief. Relief. Definitely relief. I mean, you know how it is. You're waiting for the big transfer to go over the line so that you can start your transfer window out well. So it just feels like relief that at least things are moving in a positive direction. I always kind of felt like we would get him, but there was always that thing in the back of my mind, like, are we gonna mess it up? Are we gonna fumble? Like, are we not gonna get it done quick enough? Things like that. So, yeah, I'm ecstatic. Like, I'm very happy because if we can get this over the line, then that means that the big one is done. We look serious. I know there's tons of questions on whether or not Arsenal are serious or not, but I think spending over £100 million on Declan Rice shows that Arsenal are ready to do business. Don't you?
I agree. It was funny, actually. Me and Lee Gunner are organizing our show for tomorrow. And he said to me, he basically said, didn't I tell you that there'd be no bid from
Mm.
Arsenal within a week for Declan Rice? And like I said before on another show, yes, the official bid may not have gone in tonight. That may come in the next few days. But the old official bid, unofficial bid, you know me long enough and well enough that I think that's all a load of nonsense. Unofficial bids are official bids. They're just ways of clubs protecting themselves should deals not go through. You've been talking to West Ham since that final. That is when they said they would negotiate. Personal terms have been agreed upon for a long time. It looks like you've sought the price at now £100 million, which is a lot of money. But it's for the number one target, one of the best midfielders in European football. It's going to bolster Arsenal up massively. And if you get this deal done now, on the 12th of June, 11th, 13th, 14th of June, with the entire summer remaining, full preseason under Declan Rice, that Arsenal are not only going to be a force to be reckoned with again next year, you're definitely going to be in that title race. There's no doubt about it. What a signing. I'm not going to pull back and act, bitter and jealous because I want him at Man United. And I'm
No,
kind of
guys. No, guys, let me tell you. Every single day, it's like he's talking about Rice. Like, even before we were ever linked to him, Terry loved Rice. Like, he did. So he loves him, and it's going to feel good every single day, hopefully being able to say he's an Arsenal player and not a Man United player. Because I didn't even rate him. Remember when I didn't rate him? Do you remember that?
yes. I listen. A lot of people, a lot of Arsenal fans that I know didn't rate him. A lot of football fans didn't. I've been on about this guy for a long time. I'm
Yeah.
genuinely, to my core, gutted that Arsenal were going to get him because he's serious. He's a serious player, and I think that once he's being managed by a better coach in terms of and I'm talking contemporary sense of the word, contemporary modern day football, then David Moyes, you're going to see an even better individual come through here. And he isn't just a very good player. This is the thing about it as well. He's also a fantastic leader. This guy, I'm going to say it now, he's going to be the Arsenal. He'll be your captain in 2 to 3 years' time. I don't care how good Odegaard is. This man's a better leader. He will be
I
the
don't like you talking
captain.
about my captain like that.
He'll be the captain of your football club. He is legitimately that good, and I'm upset and I'm frustrated. Now, a lot of people in the comments are saying, "What is the source?" The source is Jacob Steinberg. Now, to give you an example of how good Jacob Steinberg is, Fabrizio uses him as a reference point. So, if you're someone who trusts Fabrizio, trust Jacob Steinberg. Very well connected, very credible journalist. He's been on dozens of streams with Fabrizio in the past, on Twitch and things like that. So, very, very, I would say a hot sauce. This isn't mild mayo. This isn't some weak home brand sauce. This is a hot sauce. Legitimately 110%. But viewers, we want your thoughts. We want your feelings. I want to know what your opinions are on this. Declan Rice, £100 million deal agreed between the clubs. The official bid is yet to come in. More on that when it breaks. We know personal terms are already agreed as well. So we want to hear from you regarding this deal. This here from Ezra says, "Get Caicedo, and I will start to believe." Is that what's after this for you? Do you then have to go for somebody else like a Caicedo?
Oh yeah, nothing is done. Like it's a good starting point. Get your priority target over the line, but don't get it twisted. Arsenal need like two midfielders and of like a good quality. So yeah, like I would expect Arsenal to continue on from here. Like Rice is not enough. He's great, but he's not enough.
This here says, "Yeah, need Caicedo." Big up Terry and Jess. Arsenal must make quarterfinals of the Champions League minimum. If you spend this summer, no excuses. Is that something you agree with?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
There we
I
go.
no, I agree. I have like I'm not gonna sit here and
We're just looking for a more in-depth answer from you, as opposed
oh
to yes.
yeah. Well, I mean, well, sometimes you go through the comments and you're like, you want to keep going, So, but no, I think Arsenal, maybe we've been accused of having too low of expectations. Next season, I think a lot of Arsenal fans, including me, are going to feel like we need to be getting at least to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, take all the cups very serious, silverware, maintain that Champions League spot, title race. So yeah, like Rice is not enough to do that. But if we do spend the money, those are my expectations for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. A few people are asking for some more information. So here's some more from the Guardian on this deal. It says Arsenal were close to agreeing a fee with West Ham for Declan Rice and are expected to pay more than £100 million for the midfielder. A bid is yet to be submitted, but talks between the clubs are progressing smoothly, and there is confidence that the deal will be finalized soon. So it will complete soon. The article also goes on to say, and I want to read this out, that Arsenal are also considering a bid for Moises Caicedo, who is wanted by Chelsea, and they are trying to sign Manchester City's Ilkay Gundogan on a free transfer. So it appears that Arsenal are trying to get Caicedo done, Rice done, and get Ilkay Gundogan. If you were able to pull off those three signings, the confidence of not just challenging City again, but maybe toppling them next year, surely that's going to increase amongst yourself and the Arsenal fan base.
Yeah, one of our biggest Achilles heel has been the midfield. Like as good as Xhaka and Partey are, like there's definitely a ceiling to them. And we saw that this season. Like that's as good as it's going to get with those two. So the midfield definitely needs some like reconstruction for sure. And so, yeah, if we were to bring in Caicedo, Rice, and Gundogan, first of all, like I would need to maybe go to the hospital because I wouldn't believe it. I'd be like sick. Like there's just no way. I'd be in dreamland. There's just no way. But even if it's not Gundogan, because I don't think it will be, but if we were to bring in three midfielders of that quality, yeah, like I'd be excited for next season, thinking we could do something for sure.
Yeah, listen, I think Arsenal can. If you were to bring in that kind of three, maybe you're looking at Castagna. You sort of improve the fullback areas a little bit. Maybe add a little bit more firepower up front. You could. You're going to be massive contenders, but on top of that, that would be three top class midfielders for what a combined total of about 170 million because one of them's on a free transfer. That is a lot of money, but it's also very good business at exactly the same time. And I feel that, yeah, Arsenal, it would be such a response. And I think for me, I'm always someone that's been, I wouldn't say skeptical of Arsenal, but I've always sort of, until you start acting like a big club, until you start putting down those big money offers, until you start doing that, yes, you're a big club by name, but you're never going to be able to compete with the Man Uniteds and I use them because you were competing against us a decade or so ago. The Liverpools, the Chelseas, the Cities, the teams in the last 19 years that have been winning those league titles. You were never going to be able to compete with them until you started to behave like them. It's a simple, and me and you have had this conversation many, many times before. All these gooners that have in the past sort of celebrated, great net spend, but we've only got the sixth highest wage bill. Bun that. To quote KJ, bun that. It's a load of nonsense. Spend the money on the right people and
Yeah.
not go for broke, but go and try and win the title. Not sort of we had a good attempt, but we spent less than you. That's not a trophy.
Well, people talk about Stan Kroenke all the time, but he's a sportsman. He really is. Like his franchises in the US do well. The Nuggets, the Rams, like they've won things. and he's put his money where his mouth is. Like when he wanted to win, he's done it. So he can do that with Arsenal as well. He's not broke. Like he's has money. And so it's just a matter of, do they actually want to do it or not? They have all the ability to make us into a juggernaut. It's just whether or not they want to do it. And so for me, this window is super important because I expect us to spend this amount of money on players because that's how it gets done. Now, the players have to perform, the manager has to perform, like everybody has to step up, but you at least need to get your foot in the door. And you're not doing that if you're just going around buying this 20 million pound player here, 30 million pound. Like there's always room for bargains, but like not every single time. Like sometimes you have to go big.
Absolutely. And I'm not saying, listen, if you can have in the last 2 or 3 years, because of their success, because of how well players that have wanted to move on have done, because of the brilliant development of their youth academy,
Yeah.
City have been able to create a very good net spend in the last 2 to 3 years. That's when you celebrate it. When you've had the success, you sell a big asset and continue to improve. Man United's net spend between sort of '06 and 2013 was amazing because of the sale of Cristiano Ronaldo. But that was something to celebrate because we'd won the most amount of league titles. We won a Champions League, FA Cups, no, not the FA Cups, sorry, League Cups in that time. So you're able to celebrate it. When you don't win anything, I've never understood celebrating good net spend, low wage bills comparatively. Go and spend the money. I always remember having an argument with my dad when Spurs nearly won the league a couple of times, in his words. And I said, wouldn't you just rather your team go out in the summer though and drop 250 million and go for it? He's like, no, I'd rather, bring a few more academy players through. It's like, yeah, that's why you're never going to win. That's like that attitude will never win you the Premier League in 2000 in the era we're in and in 2023. Viewers, we have shared a link if you want to phone in and join us and have your say on this deal. Let us know in the private chat on StreamYard what your take on it is. We can kind of get an order of people moving forward. There's some super chats here. The first one says, just the thoughts. Is Caicedo the only player around who does what he does? I think Arsenal might explore other options. What's your thought on that from Raul?
Yeah, he kind of is. It's, like as you can look at other players, but what Caicedo offers you is one, he's young, so you're future proofing your team for a long period of time. He's proven in the Premier League at a young age. He's excellent at what he does. He can get better, good on the ball, good defensively, and he can play like three positions. That type of player, you go out there and you give them 80 something million for that kind of guy. You do, because he's so valuable. And for me, Caicedo is just another Conte. He's the type of player that you miss out on and you're like, why didn't I spend the money? So no, there was never another Conte until now. Look how long it took. There's nobody else on the market like Caicedo. You have players that have bits and pieces similar to him, but no. The next time we see another Caicedo, they'll be coming through at Brighton. They're the only ones who seem to be able to find these guys.
No, I understand completely. I think he's phenomenal, and his versatility as well. We've seen him play 6, we've seen him play 8, we've seen him be advanced, we've seen him go into right back and hold his own. That versatility shows you the level of football player that he is.